Hello, Pastor Tim here bringing you today's Kingdom Key. We are going to be reading out of Mark chapter 12, verses 13 through 17. So let's take a look. It says, "And they sent to him some of the Pharisees and some of the Herodians to trap him in his talk. And they came and said to him, 'Teacher, we know that you're true, and you do not care about anyone's opinion, for you are not swayed by appearances.'" So they're trying to flatter him. They're trying to lay it on thick, thinking that, Jesus is a politician, that they can just kind of smooth and get to change his mind. It says, "But tell us the way of God. Is it lawful to pay taxes to Caesar or not? Should we pay them or should we not?" But Jesus, knowing their hypocrisy, said to them, "Why do you put me to the test? Bring me a denarius and let me look at it." And they brought one, and he said to them, "Whose likeness and inscription is this?" They said to him, "Caesar's." Jesus said to them, "Render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's." And they marveled at him. So Jesus refused to get caught in the trap. He refused to take the political bait. See, because the Herodians and the Pharisees were both political parties. There were your Pharisees, your Sadducees, your Herodians, your Nazarenes, and all these different political parties that were all claiming to be allied to Israel. And I think we have the same thing going on in America today, as we have these political parties going on that claim to be allied to the church, claim to be allied to what's right. And sometimes they'll use moral grounds, or they'll use, compassion and various things in order to win the church's attention and get them on their side. And see, Jesus refused to take the side because Jesus wanted to reach everyone. He wanted to reach Herodians. He wanted to reach Pharisees, Sadducees, Nazarenes, Zealots, all of them. In fact, he had Zealots on his team of apostles. The apostle Paul was a former Pharisee, so Jesus did not want to rule out anyone that could be transformed by the gospel. And my concern is that the church has ultimately, when it became a political power, when the church became the evangelical wing of political focus, and they kind of took the bait and took a side, I believe they sold their birthright like Esau sold his birthright. See, our birthright is of the kingdom. Our birthright is not of a political party. And if we subject ourselves to a political party, then we reap the benefit of that political party. And you know what? The benefit of that political party is marginal in comparison to the kingdom. That's why Jesus said, "Seek first the kingdom and its righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you." The problem is we like immediate results. We like immediate reward. We don't want to do well doing without growing weary. We don't want to wait for the harvest. We want it now. And because of that, it's just kind of like Esau. Esau didn't want to wait to go home and cook the beans and get them ready. He wanted it right now. And, I feel like as American Christians, we are at a precipice. We are on the edge of a cliff. And we are at a point where we have to make a decision to detach ourselves from political parties. Now, I'm not saying don't vote. I'm not saying don't be involved politically. But what I am saying is we got to get away from being identified by politicians. Jesus refused to do it. Whose inscription is on our coins? Politicians. Okay, yes, many of them from eons ago, and some of them owned slaves. That's a challenge in and of itself. But the fact remains that we are the church of the living God, born of the kingdom of God, and our loyalties are to the King. Our loyalties are to Jesus. And Jesus said, look, keep political stuff out of this. Let Caesar handle the business of Caesar. We will handle the business of God. And I think that's so important. And I think it's something that we really need to pay attention to and be careful. Because I see a lot of Christians right now behaving in ways that are just not benefiting the kingdom. It divides the church. You think about it, the Sadducees, the Herodians, the Pharisees, the Nazarenes, the Zealots, they were all Jewish. Yet they were divided and fighting against each other. Why? Because of political power. Folks, I will say this. Look at church history. The church was always the spiritually strongest when it was the politically weakest. And I think we need to get to a point to where we don't rely on politics, Supreme Court justices, and all these different things to determine what we're going to do and how we're going to live. I think we should just love our neighbor as ourselves. That's the second greatest commandment. The first one is like it. Love the Lord your God with everything you are. So there's today's Kingdom Key. Hope you're having a great Monday. God bless you. Keep calm. Jesus on.